This video is about fact caching. So after fact gathering, facts are kept in memory and stay there for the duration of playbook execution. That is not very efficient, is it? But it is what is needed if you need your facts to reflect the accurate state. If that's not needed, you can use plugins to enable fact caching. And when you use a plugin, facts should be gathered manually or as a scheduled job that is executed after expiration of the fact cache. And next, all playbooks can run without fact gathering and access their facts from the fact cache. Until the cache has expired, then you will get an error message and then you will know that you need to do fact gathering again. I have listed all the steps that are required to set up a Redis-based fact cache. Let me show you. So to start with, I'd like to show you Ansible doc-t cache-l. Where you can see all the different caching mechanisms that can be used. Definitely the easiest solutions are either based on Redis or on memcached. Memcached is quite workable as well. And hey, Ansible doc-t cache Redis. Do we have any usable information? Well, as you can see, it's showing some prefixes. But not really a very good documentation. So let me be your documentation. To start with, sudo dnf install -y redis. I'm doing that on a control node, and I'm doing that on a control node for the simple reason that that is where you are going to run your fact cache. Of course, you can use a playbook as well to do this, but hey, this time I'm going for the quick solution and I am just going to straight install these different components. So sudo systemctl enable --now redis will start the Redis in-memory database. Redis, in fact, is a very simple in-memory key value store. So it's a database, an in-memory database, as simple can be. The next command is an important one. We see sudo pip3 install redis. This is where we are using Redis and we are adding Redis functionality to Python. In order to do so, we need pip3 install. You can safely ignore the warning that is shown here. I do want this Redis part to be available throughout on my system. So I am fetching it using sudo functionality. Now this is interesting because you will notice, and you will notice that over and over again in the next lessons, that for enhanced functionality you need to install additional stuff in Python, like right here, this Redis stuff. So we need to wait for a little bit until that is done, and then we can continue. So it is done. Let's configure this fact cache in ansible.cfg. And in ansible.cfg, you do your fact caching under the defaults setting. So use fact caching is Redis and fact caching timeout is 3600 or 36,000 if you want. That really depends. This fact caching timeout, in fact, is a very important parameter, because this is the default timeout that you will be facing. And by default, that will be an hour. If you want your facts to be more accurate, make it shorter. If you want your fact cache to be valid for a longer time, make it longer. All depends on the dynamics that you want from your fact cache. Next, I need to specify fact caching connection equals localhost : 6379, which is the port : 0, where 0 is the Redis instance. And that is what we need to do in order to configure the Redis plugin. Let's get back to the slide to learn how we are going to use this fact cache. So in order to use the fact cache, first step is to make sure that you have something in your fact cache. Then you can use a checkcache.py script that is provided in the plugins Git repository directory. And next, you can use Ansible playbook checkfacts.yaml to check how it is working. Let me demonstrate this. For your convenience, in the Git repository, there is a separate subdirectory with the name fact cache. And in fact cache, we have everything that we need for this demo. So the first thing I would like to show you is check cache. Check cache is a simple Python script. And in this simple Python script, we can see key Ansible facts plus Kubuntu. Let's do that for Ansible 1. This is going to work with the Ansible facts that have been cached for Ansible 1. And we print Ansible mem3 megabyte. So what do you think is going to happen if I run it right now? I am getting a non-typed, pretty curious error message, but the thing is that we are addressing something that does not exist. Now I am going to use sudo systemctl status redis. I want to make sure that it is up and running. It is. So now I'm going to use Ansible all -m setup. Which is going to populate the fact cache. And let me run this check cache Python script again, and there we go. We have a value 123. And this is obtained from the fact cache. That's the point I want to make here. So next we can have a look at checkfacts.yaml. And what do we see in checkfacts.yaml? We see that gather facts is set to false, and debug anyways is going to use the variable Ansible facts. That's a very simple playbook, but it doesn't have to be any more complicated to show you that fact caching indeed is working. As you can see, and wow, was that fast or wasn't it? It sure was. You can see that this playbook is working from the fact cache. Do notice that at some point sooner or later the fact cache will expire, and if the fact cache has expired, you will need to run your fact cache again. So it does require a little bit of manual work. Fact caching is cool if you don't need your facts to contain actual values, but there's also a couple of things to watch out for. Let's go check that out. So while using a fact cache, there's a couple of things to observe. First, once the fact cache expires, all playbooks that require facts and have gather facts false will fill. Obviously, because they will be facing undefined variables. So you might want to run a scheduled job to refresh the fact cache automatically. And to ensure that a playbook does not use cache but gathers facts instead, you can use Ansible playbook whatever.yaml with the -- flush cache option. -- flush cache option allows you to use the actual value of your facts. And that is something you definitely have to do if you have playbooks that depend on, for instance, the amount of available memory. That's a very dynamic value. You really must make sure that you are using the actual facts.